DC? Have you made a decision?
You know, you really listen a lot hard, don't you? I got to be in. Listen. We've got a lot of things to work on. I haven't made a decision yet, but what I do know is I gotta win it. I gotta protect Iowa in some way, shape, or another, and make sure that our voices are heard. So I haven't made a decision yet, but I sure hope to be continuing the opportunity to represent Iowa in some way.
What kind of timeline do you expect to make that decision?
Oh boy, I haven't really sat down and put a time frame to it, but my guess would be, a little bit later this year, because there's no other. Once you get past that, there's no turning back. You've got to be in.
On a different subject, you were talking about HR 1. Joe Manchin has said that he's not going to support that in the Senate. You were talking about how frustrating it was to see that fail in the Senate. What words do you have for someone like Senator Manchin?
Well, I'd like to go talk to Senator Manchin. We have a relationship. It was my unemployment bill that was the clincher to get him to sign on to, the rescue plan. And so he did not want to extend the unemployment. And so that day, there was a lot happening on the phones. I was with Durbin and him. That's what was the piece that allowed him to say, okay, well, I can accept this. It's not more money out, but it's saving people money. So we've developed a relationship. I want to give him a call. I think that I understand he's really trying to do I'm assuming he's doing what he hopes is right. Well, but if we don't get this thing passed, we're seeing state after state, their voter rights being dismantled. It's that important. Honestly, this is a make or break for this country. If Americans want to retain a democratic process, they need to jump on board and start saying we need to protect voters and stop with this voter suppression. So I'm going to talk to them. Listen, I take a lot of hard votes in states like Iowa. I think people who are authentic and true to their convictions and who are representing their people that they serve, they're going to make it back. And I think anybody who stands up for the Constitution and for people's right to vote, he'll make it back. I want to talk to him and tell him he's got support on the health side.
What do you say to Republicans who are concerned about HR 1 federalizing election law? They say, this is something that belongs to the states.
Well, we're not necessarily federalizing election law. There's so much that the states do. The only thing that we want to see done in the House is that elections are fair and that voters are not suppressed. And unfortunately, tactics are being taken right now that are doing those two things. So, I certainly want states to be able to do what they need to do for fair and safe elections. But if we're seeing dismantling of that in the states, then it is time that we look at that at a federal level, because we're all in this together. I don't know how many times I need to say, we make products for folks in Detroit. We make products for people in Connecticut. Folks in those states make them for us here. If we don't work together, we become the country that we're not supposed to be. And as a matter of fact, people who are tearing that down, we fought for these things in the Civil War.
Childcare came up a lot today. Are you hearing that more in your town halls and your conversations with constituents? And then second, Senator Joni Ernst has made some efforts to move forward on childcare legislation. Is that an area that you could see yourself working with her on?
Yeah, I certainly work with Senator Ernst on multiple areas, and mental health, veterans issues, ethanol, a lot of that, and then of course child care. And certainly as a mom, I think we both understand the issues related to that. I'm hearing it everywhere, just hearing it everywhere. I just talked to another woman over here who works in an organization, and one of her employees came up and said, "Can I go part-time? I don't have daycare and I can't find it. My mother-in-law said she'd do 2 days a week. Can I do 2 days?" So when these people are saying they're not joining the workforce, we have people who can't get the daycare. I'm not kidding about this being one of the biggest problems we face in this country. So I hope that we can work with the Senate on it, because it is crucial. And I believe that, I'm glad to see that Senator Ernst is, hopefully going to support something like that. Red Oak, yeah, it was Red Oak with the child care center. It was Red Oak, her hometown. The Economic Development Board there, they had come to talk to folks in town and said, what do you think that we can do that we would increase economic viability for our community? And people had lots of ideas or all that. And somebody came up with, we need a child care center. And then kind of like maybe the patriarch or whatever of the economic development, he'd been through it all in the town. He kept saying, that's not something we need, that's not something we need. They put this child care center in place. They raised $1 million from people in town. That guy, he is the first person to say it was the best thing we ever could have done for this town. It has given people so much more opportunity. But yeah, we have huge problems. We also have problems with daycare in non-regular hours. I talked to a company who they had to move a woman's hours. They needed to hire her, but she has children, and she couldn't work the late shift. Could not find childcare for the late shift. That's one of the big problems in this country too, for folks who work evenings or different shifts. There's very little child care. So I hear this everywhere. I did not hear one person today say they couldn't get here because the bridge was down, but I heard somebody tell me today that they had to go part-time and work because they couldn't get child care.
All right, well, Congresswoman, we better keep you moving here.